Bill Gates said, I will always choose a lazy person to do a difficult job because a lazy person will find an easy way to do it. What's a real life example of this? I knew a guy who had a low level data reporting job. He had several daily and weekly work responsibilities, including a bunch of reports that needed quite a bit of tweaking from raw data to finished product. But, like I said, low level. Didn't find out until way later, but he had set up macros for each of his major responsibilities where he could, once set up, he'd just run the macros to do his work. But then he'd smartly hold off on delivering the reports until just a little before the deadlines. He hit every assignment and was seen as reliable. He also would complain about the workload so people would leave him without work. I doubt he did a full hour of work a day after he set up what he did. Eventually he left the job for one with better pay, but damn did he work lazy. Also, he was smart not to reveal until the end, because had he told them about it, he would have gotten a pat on the back and would have been given a whole other workload. On top of maintaining those macros, dude milked the job, not the other way around. Any good IT guy will find a way to automate his job so that he can sit around browsing Reddit. I left my last system admin job, and the next guy called me and asked me how I was doing the work of 3 people. He was going through the daily playbook and was so far behind. I asked him if he was going through the manual playbook or the automated playbook, as I had left both on my desk. Evidently, my former boss had taken the automated one to do the work in the interim and never told the new hire about it. Bingo! The fact that you left 2 manuals is very kind of you though. It was a great environment and a great small team, so I made sure they were okay when I left. The only reason I left is someone was going to pay me more than double and they could not afford to even come close to matching it. You is the real MVP by documenting your systems. When I left my job, I tossed all my work files in trash. My replacement called me at my new job to ask where they were. I told the truth. If someone gives you 2 weeks notice, don't tell them they can leave now. Doesn't go over well. I don't get this. Isn't 2 weeks notice just a courtesy to the employer? If they're okay with you leaving right away or sooner, wouldn't that be a good thing? My brother gave my oldest nephew $10 a week if he did all his chores without needing to be told or complaining. One day he gets home early from work and sees the neighbor's kid tossing a bag in the trash. He asks him what he's doing, and the kid says he gets $5 a week to take care of a few chores. My nephew outsourced his chores. Outsourcing and child labor? This kid's destined to be a Nike CEO one day. Nephew, it. Gotta start young. Nestle has entered the chat. China has joined the chat. Children has left the chat. Children forcibly returned to the chat. An older company had a person dedicated to data entry, which boiled down to copying and pasting portions of data from text files to spreadsheets and formatting into a report. The person originally doing this job spent a full 40 plus hours a week doing it, but was not very computer literate. When they retired, the company hired someone with actual skills. The new hire convinced management to let her work remotely after getting up to speed on the job. The first week at home was spent automating the entire job. The remainder of the multi-year tenure with the company was spent doing whatever they wanted, save the 10 or 15 minutes weekly to run their program and to answer the odd email here and there, all while getting paid a full salary and benefits. They actually had to add in a few errors now and then to make it seem realistic. An older company had a person dedicated to data entry, which boiled down to copying and pasting portions of data from text files into spreadsheet and formatting into a report. I've worked a few places that have people doing this. Usually when they retire, the job is given to some younger person that figures out how to do it in 10 minutes on top of the rest of their normal job. In this case, since the retiring person worked full-time doing this and often struggled to meet deadlines, they hired a replacement. My girlfriend works for an insurance company and basically spent months working on spreadsheets to compile quarterly vendor claims for the last 10 years. Each quarter with thousands of rows. I just finished my MS in analytics. I spent a few hours with her asking exactly what she needed to do. Wrote 3 lines of code in SQLite and basically saved her months of work. Now when she has to work in these projects, she runs the program and that's that. I was pretty proud of that. I work in insurance. I'm currently on Reddit because I finished my work for the day. It's 1 p.m. I started at 11 and done at 7 p.m. I'm bored already. Draw, study, do something you might value as productive in an interest of yours. Don't squander the time, you'll regret it later. If you can, that is. Yeah, I was working in a hostel reception and on the quiet times was studying Spanish just for fun. Now I can watch whole series in the original language. Pretty happy with that. Smiley face. I worked goods in for an aircraft manufacturer as a summer job at university. Parts would arrive, we'd open them and key in all the details into a terminal. That bit was long-winded. I discovered the terminal keyboard had assignable shortcuts and set up a bunch of them for all the boilerplate such that keying in an item was about 6 keystrokes. Saved myself and my workmate hours every day, which we would spend pranking each other, other warehouse staff, and staff at other sites. Made yourself more efficient and use the extra time to make your colleagues less efficient? Made yourself more efficient and use the extra time to make your colleagues less efficient? Ron Swanson has entered the chat. Given the choice of doing something and doing nothing, I will always choose doing nothing, unless doing something helps someone else do nothing. I would work all day if it meant nothing got done. Ron Swanson. The secret is shameless self-promotion. Use secret scripts and automation, but instead of telling everyone else how awesome your scripts are and how well automated everything is, use the output from those and tell everyone how good you are at these tasks and reports and how well you've got it handled. The funny part is that the boss thinks we're dumb enough to spend hours on manually executing stupid meaningless tasks every day instead of automating them. Then he praises us for the amount of time it must have taken us to do said tasks. Good boy. Who wants a paycheck? Do you want a paycheck? Okay, sit, stay, and paycheck. Most bosses like that will be angry that you undermine them if you actually show off the macro. A lot of time manager prestige is based on how many employees they have and how hard they work those employees. A manager of 50 employees has more prestige than a manager of 5, especially if they get 60-hour weeks out of all 50 employees while the 5-employee manager lets them go home after 40. I had a manager refuse to allow me to teach my teammates to use one report instead of a bunch of single reports for a task. This person is something else. I plug clocks in at midnight so they're already set. Trip the main fuse in the house at midnight to do all the appliances too. LOL. The real life hack is always in the comments. Just call the energy company to reset the entire city's clocks at the same time. What about the clock in my car? Should have bought your car at midnight. Okay, so what do I do about my biological clock? Should have been born, conceived at midnight. An engineer spent hours developing a program so they could start the coffee pot from their desk and not have to wait for coffee when arriving in the break room. That's pretty much how the first webcam was created too. Lazy computer engineers wanted to see if there was coffee in the pot. I'm so unbelievably happy that this is true. Thank coffee. Engineers and caffeine, almost a symbiotic relationship. Write once, run everywhere. Java must have gotten its name from coffee-obsessed lazy engineers. This is a case of ask a lazy person for a solution to handling their work. I got sent out to California on a fact-finding mission about the marijuana growing industry years ago to see if there was a market for the sort of ANC work we do, automation and controls. I set up meetings with some of the local growers and met with them, discussed their outdoor grow operations. Their biggest complaint was having to go to the grow sites to do various tasks associated with maintaining the crop. I asked them if we could provide a system that could allow you to manage those operations remotely from home, would you be interested in buying it? Every single guy was like, fuck yeah. If I could do it from bed while smoking a spliff, I'd be totally on board for that. That's like my dream come true. So it turns out some of the automation that was developed for that industry was marketed to the inherent laziness of stoners who had an entrepreneurial spirit. I mean, it's how I'm working right now, so I get it. Fuck. I wish I could do some work like that. I love working for stoners. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and share. Be sure to subscribe. See you next time.